You are right. All right. Let's talk about the Mississippi governor activating National Guard to help with the water crisis. There's a major water crisis happening in Mississippi, but the real water crisis is happening in my pants right now. I have to go pee really bad. I'm going to play this. I'll be back in a second.
State of emergency in Jackson, Mississippi. The governor activating the National Guard to help with the water crisis that has left more than 100,000 people in the state's biggest city without running water. Trevor Ault is there in Jackson with the latest. Good morning, Trevor.
Good morning, Michael. So officials at every level are working to bring in water here, but the demand is enormous. You have people waiting hours for a single case, and others who didn't get there early enough are being turned away, as we still have no idea when running water and clean water will flow again in Jackson.
This morning, the urgent rush for water in Jackson, Mississippi, with a state of emergency declared.
Come on down, baby. Come on down.
Thousands lining up at distribution sites, 1 pack of bottled water per vehicle, as their taps at home have run dry.
Want some clean water to drink like everybody else.
It's hard. It's rough on us right now.
At this location, some lined up 2.5 hours early. Those 600 cases gone in 90 minutes. A half-mile line of cars left empty-handed.
I have said on multiple occasions that it's not a matter of if our system would fail, but a matter of when our system would fail.
Last week's historic rainfall and subsequent flooding accelerated that inevitable failure, but the city had already been under a boil water advisory because of harmful contaminant levels. Deion Sanders, the coach of the Jackson State football team, speaking.
I don't know if they talked about this already, but I don't need to tell you what the demographics of Jackson look like, right? You probably could have guessed by. You probably could have guessed when you saw the state of disrepair that they're living in, you know? %82 black. One of the blackest cities in America. Yeah, to help you understand, Flint, Michigan is 54% black. Jackson, Mississippi is 83% black. Are you saying that POC don't take care of their things? Dude, I love that. The left's secret contempt for POC is hilarious. Pander in public, shame them in private. You are so brain broken, dude. This is the biggest, most incredible self-report of all time. Fucking degenerate, racist fuck. I hate Are You Saying chatter so much. No, you fucking idiot. That's not what I'm saying. You brain-dead moron. You fucking donkey. Systemic racism is what I'm saying.
So Mississippi has no water.
In Jackson, Mississippi, school drop-off isn't just for the kids. It's also for the water. The entire city is facing a boil water notice. Again.
We're told, don't wash your hair with the water. Don't brush your teeth with the water.
One thing you probably never heard of in this country is what's called a sacrifice city. Places like Flint, Michigan, Newark, New Jersey, Detroit, Milwaukee, Plant City, Florida, and Jackson, Mississippi. They've actually been struggling with toxic water for the last.
Once the city is over 24% black, it's like automatically, that means that there was a dedicated effort to push black people into that city or that neighborhood, or a dedicated effort to destroy the blossoming black community that came out of that neighborhood. Like historic examples would be Tulsa, okay? And therefore, much easier to just like refuse to offer loans, refuse to fucking help the black communities get out of that state of disrepair, and that sets off a chain of motion, basically, that creates this never-ending cycle of poverty and violence.
The last decade. The reason why these cities are considered a sacrifice is because the governors of those states have no incentive to help these poor income neighborhoods out because their voter base doesn't live there. So when it comes to reallocating state budgets and the mayor of Jackson is like, hey, our water pumps are failing, we need money for infrastructure, the governor's like, you know what, we can skimp on that. And after 2 decades later, it only took one natural disaster for the governor to declare a state of emergency because all 150 water pumps got annihilated. And without throwing the race card into the mix, it definitely does not help that the Republican governor of Mississippi has had public issues with working with the liberal mayor of Jackson. This is Mississippi's governor, by the way, Tate Reeves, whose best hits include calling pregnant women shit out of luck in his state and also notorious for cutting financial assistance programs for low-income households. But his biggest flex is being able to divert an entire water truck to the front of his mansion while people in his state can't flush the toilet. So Mississippi
that
has
was
no
another
water.
that was another incredible move too. What an incredible move.
Out about his players getting through the situation.
But right now, we're operating in crisis mode. I got to get these kids off campus, make sure all our kids are fed, and all our kids have the necessities of life.
By the way, this is yet another example of it's incredibly expensive to be poor, because when you don't have running water, you have to fucking boil your water or get bottled water for everything. That in and of itself is incredibly expensive, okay? So it becomes harder for you to take care of yourself because the government is not taking care of you. It is really difficult to survive in conditions like this, and that is by design. Okay? The water pipes or the what is it called? The facility that normally would clean the water should not be in such a dire state of disrepair. And in most rich neighborhoods, you're not going to have that. Okay? In most rich neighborhoods, you're not going to have that problem. The treatment plant, thank you. The treatment facility. But of course, it doesn't matter. If you're in a poor neighborhood, then you're fucked.
For the next several days until this crisis resides.
The city went without water for a month last year, and a 2020 EPA report found multiple issues, including failure to replace lead pipes, faulty equipment, and a lack of
a reality for, again, like I said, if you have 20% plus, if the black population percentage is over 20%, your fucking pipes aren't going to work. Okay, straight up. Like, that's an easy lock for most American cities, okay? If it goes over 13%, the closer it gets to 20%, the worse your likelihood is that you're going to have clean fucking pipes. Systemic racism works that way. You can literally fucking point at it by you can make a quantitative assessment on the likelihood that you are going to have an infrastructure that is broken by looking at the percentage of black people living in your community. Wild. No, you're wrong. Sometimes the pipes work, but the water is poison. No, I'm not wrong. The water is oftentimes poison as a consequence of the pipes working, but not working in the sense that they are not clean. Lead poisoning happening from pipes. Income map will prove your point. Oh, yeah. Wait, where's the income? Yeah, look at some of the poorest neighborhoods here, and you will see what I'm talking about. Highest population density of highest black population density areas, always in red states. Honestly, I find more examples of reasons I hate this country than love it. It makes me sick. Yeah, income tab. Income tab is also always going to be the lowest too. Areas with the lowest income oftentimes have the highest percentage of black and brown populations. Most of them centered around the South. Now, of course, you're right. Danny Penguin is right. He says, I could be wrong, but I think West Virginia could be a counterexample. Not a lot of black people, still extremely high levels of poverty. First of all, there's still, I mean, you know, there's still, of course, going to be poverty in white neighborhoods, too. Look at fucking Ohio. Ohio has plenty of white areas that are poor as fuck. Same with parts of Pennsylvania. Same with West Virginia, because obviously this is still class warfare. You know, so yeah, there is plenty of that as well. Make no mistake.
Of trained staff.
We feel like we've been going it alone for the better part of 2 years.
The crisis also putting a spotlight on systemic infrastructural racism, as Jackson's population is more than 80% black.
The whole city is suffering at some point in place. Regardless of the demographic makeup, we're all feeling the brunt of it in some type of way.
And emergency maintenance is now underway to get that water treatment plant fixed, but the mayor here says fixing everything wrong with the water system so that this doesn't keep happening over and over again could easily cost $1 billion or more. Michael?
Yeah, it would be worth it though, Trevor. Thank you.
Breaking news overnight, the Justice Department.
Now to the state.
The governor also did not invite the mayor to the emergency meeting. Tate Reeves stands with MEMA and MSDH to discuss Jackson's water crisis. Reeves says he didn't personally invite mayor to the briefing and isn't sure if anyone else did. The city's communications director that says she found out about the presser via Twitter. That's a cool way to deal with it, by not inviting the liberal mayor of the city that is undergoing the worst crisis. I wonder why that happened. Dude, the racial resentment is always a compounding factor, okay? Because we're talking about Mississippi. Mississippi has poor-ass fucking white neighborhoods too, boys. Okay? And trust me, I'm telling you, Tate doesn't give a fuck about those poor white people either. Okay? But racism in the circumstance is an additional compounding factor on top of it. Okay? That's it. That's how the shit works. Always. Like a double whammy. That's great. Oh, man, nice. You know, we got the fuck over black people on top of it.
Pennsylvania.
Fetterman won't participate in a debate with Oz and calls Oz for